Hi guys, my name is Nosi. I'm working in England and I'm here for your empowerment. I'm a South African and I work in England. I'm here to say you will not pay for questions. Ask me any questions, I will tell you on children and family social work. But also when I access questions or when I manage to be experienced on adult social work, I'll be there to empower you. One last thing, this will be number 5 in the UK interview questions that I've been giving you in the previous videos. I would like to talk about the things to consider in assessments. Remember, I said assessments are key here, are very important. You need to know them in and out. Your risk assessments for children, for families. But there are things you need to consider during assessments. One of them is harm. Since harm is divided into 4 categories: emotional, physical, sexual, and neglect, there is evidence that the child has been subjected to physical harm because there was a point where he sustained injuries. Remember, in my previous videos, I talked about being scratched here, To a degree, the child has also suffered emotional harm and neglect which was caused by his parents. For example, living in a cluttered house, his teeth not being brushed, failure to initiate medical care are the parental behaviors that indicate the parents are the source of harm to the child. There is no indication that the child suffered sexual abuse. It's still harm even though there is no sexual abuse, but it's still harm, as I've mentioned. I've just learned that harm is a broader term to children that I also had a limited knowledge of. I didn't know that if you've been beaten when you are pregnant as a woman, psychologically the child is harmed. You might give birth to an irritable child who's going like this because of the flight or flight mode you were in when you were beaten during the time when you were pregnant. I so wish those who still hit women would know the harm they do to children, because I had faced scenarios where during a gender-based violence scenario, a man would kick a woman in the stomach, which is harm. But I will focus on that on its own because I can say a lot about harm to children when the mother is pregnant. Your rights as a father can even be terminated. Okay, I'm not there now. I was just explaining the word harm, guys. Ne? Second, complicating factors. The complicating factors that are the father of the child. Okay, the complicating factors that are that the father of the child is anti-professional. He does not like to interact and work with the social workers. The family's house is very small, and this makes it likely for clutter to remain there. It is also a complicating factor that the father appears to love the child or not. I also noticed that professionals are not loved here, not because you are black or white or you're African. They just are anti-professionals, are anti-social workers, which also happens from where we come from, because they see you carrying files, they smell trouble. Ne? So that the complicating factors. 3, safety. These parents have shown some kind of proactiveness to keep the child away from danger. There was a time where a hammer was likely to fall on a child's head, and his father grabbed and took the hammer away to ensure that the child was safe. However, this could have been prevented if the house was danger-proof, with tools kept securely in a locked toolbox. The second concern I have is that the parents are still not showing meaningful commitment to cleaning their house as suggested by the social workers. I learned that the only time they clean their house is when they have been pushed to do so. Overall, the child safety in this home remains a concern. These things I've never been asked them, but I'm just sharing them. But I've never been asked them. Strength. The strengths or protective factors of this family are that they make an effort to attend meetings when invited by the social workers. It seems that to a degree they are willing to work with the social workers, as there is no evidence of them disapproving or welcoming social workers into their home. They have both accepted the problems that were pointed out as concerns by the social workers. It seems they have a relationship with the child. There are no attachment issues between them and their child. These are the things just you, as a professional, you just need to consider. You might not consider them for interviews, but you might consider them for your future work, your future relations with the families, the things you need to consider when you write assessments for those families. Danger or worry statement: having learned that the child's teeth are not well taken care of, this will affect his social life as he grows older. He may be bullied by his peers for decayed teeth when he starts attending nursery, for example. His self-esteem will be negatively affected by this and in turn determine his future relations. The child is likely to develop skin problems if the house is not well taken care of. Ne? 6. I don't have to say 6. Then the following one, safety goal. I would like to see the child assisted by his parents to improve his self-care skills. The parents would need to establish a routine where the child is supported to brush his teeth twice a day and to do so independently, because at his age he is expected to be in the process of learning to brush his teeth already. Guys, just be creative. You don't have to say these things as I say them, and I didn't say they will be asked, but all I'm saying, in case that they come up, just be empowered to answer them. Scaling. I would score the social workers at 4 because the problem persists, and if things do not change, the child may be removed. There's a time when you work with a case where we all score progress. Nah? Social worker, different stakeholders, and the parents themselves. As you work with them, you would have a meeting which you will learn about when you are here, which we call it a core group sometimes, or other meeting. It's not a core group only, there are different meetings where we score. Yeah? I would score a 6 for the parents because they are doing all that they can to remedy the situation. K6 is better, but when you score them 4 or 3, it still does a lot. It means there's a lot that still needs to be done. Professional next steps: before a child can be removed from their home of origin, the social worker should first support and capacitate the family to improve. Ne? For example, you can say, I know that in this family there is neglect, maybe chronic neglect, that needs to be worked on, since this particular family has not made any significant progress. No? So, or changes in the situation as suggested by professionals. I would put in place a child protection plan. This plan will take a smart concept, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound, to which the parents need to stick and agree. Should the parents fail to achieve the changes within a given timeline, I would seek legal advice to determine if court proceedings can be initiated and have the child removed to a place of safety. Guys. And then I would like to talk about, maybe in case a question might come that says, tell us about the serious case reviews that happened maybe in the UK if you relocating to UK. Tell us of any 3 serious case reviews that you know, highlighting what happened and what were the lessons from it. They always talk about serious case reviews, even if you know them, not for the purpose of interviews, but it is very important to just know them. For example, the serious case review that we have, one is Victoria Climbie. Victoria was subjected to a severe form of abuse and neglect by her aunt and her partner. She suffered physical and emotional abuse. Victoria had been to hospital more than once, but the professionals took the aunt's views on each occasion. No professional took time to talk to her alone or make available the tools to hear her views. Yeah? And as much as people saying language was the barrier, but there's something that failed to happen there. There's something that is the professionals never gave her a chance, never gave a chance, sorry about that, never gave a chance to hear her views. Ne? This is despite her speaking a different language. An interpreter could have been made available, as there were suspicions of deliberate harm by many of these professionals. The level of incompetence on the professionals, including social workers who handled her case, was appalling. Her case was known to more than one local authority, but the professionals failed to work together and share information. At the time of her last visit to hospital, it was discovered that she had injuries all over her body. One local authority had even closed her case at the time of her death. Thus, Victoria Climbby's death could have been prevented if she was spoken to alone. Professionals had shared information amongst themselves, and if they embraced a sense of accountability and pride in their work. Victoria was African. She spoke French, and she died in the hands of her aunt. That's number one. Number two, make your own research about it. Go and search it, guys. Number two case review is Macy Harrison. Macy was only a few months old at the end of her short life. Her parents had a history of substance abuse, and at the time of her death, proof of drug use was found in their home. Both parents are said to have learning difficulties. Macy did not have her own bed, and co-sleeping is suspected to have been the cause of her death. Her father had a history of conviction for harming a minor child. Once again, the professionals failed to share the information among themselves in order to protect Macy. The concern should have been picked up from the mother's lack of commitment to her antenatal checkups. Her parenting skills were questionable, and no home visits were conducted. Again, as it is pointed out, there was poor investigation, there's pre and post birth, and there was lack of professional inquisitiveness. Guys, you have to be inquisitive as a professionals. You have to check what is unsaid to avoid this sad situation from happening. Third one, case review. Child D, he died at 3 weeks old and did not have an opportunity to live longer. Similar to Macy, there were concerns regarding the mother pre-birth. His half-siblings are already in care plans, and the parenting incapacity was clear on her part. The health professionals failed to support her and explore her frequent births, despite her inability to care and protect her children. The social workers and all other professionals involved in this case were incompetent and failed to predict the future based on the information at hand. No proactive and prevention measures were taken, once again resulting on a death that could have otherwise been prevented. Do you remember, guys, what I talked about when I talked about the Ofsted report? What are the key areas of improvement from the Ofsted report regarding this organization, your organization, the one that will be intending to interview you? Make use of the Ofsted report because you will be asked in interviews to quote it. Guys, thank you so much. Remember to like, share, and comment, and I will be pouring more videos to empower you. By the time you come here, you will be competent. Nobody will be deported and be told that they are incompetent after 6 months. Not if I'm here. I'm using what I like to do, talking, but I'm using it to empower you. Please click like, share, and comment. I love you. Please take care.